Hi, this is Nick, the Intermediate DM. The focus on this video will be on difficult. Hi, this is Nick, the Intermediate DM. The focus on this video will be on difficulty class checks, mostly referred to as DC checks. When a player decides to take some kind of action, you will often ask them to make a certain kind of DC check, depending on what they are attempting to do. This is done by the roll of a 20-sided die, adding any necessary modifiers depending on the check they are making. I'll use an example from the starter set campaign, Lost Mine of Phandelver. So I'll use a full paragraph for the setting. So here's the text that's read aloud. So this is what you read and tell them. Just inside the cave mouth, a few uneven stone steps lead up to a small dank chamber on the east side of the passage. The cave narrows to a steep fissure at the far end and is filled with the stench of animals. Savage snarls and the sounds of rattling chains greet your ears where 3 wolves are chained up just inside the opening. Each wolf's chain leads to an iron rod driven into the base of a stalagmite. Alright, so that's what the group sees. So they see these 3 wolves in the middle, they see the chains on them, they see the iron rod driven into a stalagmite. Now here's a little bit more information for you as a DM for how to react to things they do. So 3 wolves are confined here, they can't reach target standing on the steps. So you as the DM know that while your players are on the steps, they're technically safe. The wolves can't get to them. But all 3 attack any creature except a goblin that moves into the room. Goblins in nearby caves ignore the sounds of fighting wolves since they constantly snap and snarl at each other. So while the wolves are going crazy and barking and howling just because you're there, it's not going to draw the attention of goblins because they're used to the wolves doing that anyways. It goes on to say, a character who tries to calm the animals can attempt a DC 15 animal handling check, which is a wisdom check. On a success, the wolves allow the character to move throughout the room. So if you attempt to calm the animals, you can make an animal handling check. Okay, it's set at 15. If they roll and add their modifier and it's 15 or higher, they succeed. If they don't succeed, they fail the roll. If the wolves are given food, the DC drops to 10. So there are certain settings where there is a DC, but you can do stuff to bring it down. Okay, and that makes sense. The wolves would probably be more prone and easier to calm if you fed them first, so the DC would drop. So if you are in the middle of a campaign that you made yourself, so you're now starting to make your own campaign, you will often have to set a DC check for things your group may be doing. If there's a locked chest and a rogue wishes to unlock it, they will be making a check with the Thieves' Stools. So they'll make a check with their Thieves' Stool, they'll roll, they'll add their modifier, but you should have in mind what does it mean based off their roll. And there's not one right answer, especially when it comes to a treasure chest. If it's an old chest, an old wooden chest versus like a bright shiny gold chest that's just beaming with magical energy, the DC for opening that chest with Thieves' Tools is going to be different. Sometimes it will be harder. It's a good idea to have more than just pass-fail also. So for instance, I might set the DC for a chest at 18. An 18 or higher would succeed in opening the chest. I may also make it so that a 7 or less could actually break or damage their Thieves' Tools, and now they actually have to get those replaced. Or my chest might be rigged with some kind of trap inside of it, in which case at 10 or lower maybe the trap gets released. So maybe if they roll a 13, they don't open the chest but no trap gets released. Maybe they rolled a 5 and not only do they not open the chest but their Thieves' Tool breaks as well as they set off a trap. But then if they roll the 18 or higher, they succeed in opening that chest. When it comes to them making a check, be descriptive about the outcome. It makes the game more exciting. Don't just say you succeed or you fail. So don't say, you're rogue, I want to attempt to open the chest with my Thieves' Tool. And you're like, make a Thieves' Tool check. And they roll and you're like, you fail. Okay? Be descriptive on what happened. Also, do not make progress of the storyline dependent on the success of a check. Every once in a while, they're going to fail checks, and that your storyline should be able to proceed anyways. So, whether they're looking for information, trying to convince someone and get information out of them. They're going to fail checks every once in a while, but you should have some kind of backup or contingency plan. It might just make it harder now. Maybe it's just harder now for them to do what they need to do, but that's the consequence of the failed check. But there should still be some kind of way they can get around things even with the failed check. One common misconception when it comes to DC checks is that a natural 1, so if you roll a 20-sided die and it lands on 1, is an automatic failure, and a natural 20, so it lands on the 20, is an automatic success. This is not true for skill checks. The 1 in 20 rule only applies to combat, so if you're in combat, if you roll a 1, it doesn't matter what your hit modifiers are, your plus to attack is, you miss, and if you roll a 20, it doesn't matter what their armor class is, it's going to hit. So for a DC check, there's a set number for the pass or fail. You can set a check to be impossibly high for your characters. So it doesn't, just because they're doing something doesn't mean they have to have a possibility to succeed. So for example, the party may have a rogue with +6 to Thieves' Tools. Let's say the party is traveling through a wooded area, and mysteriously there's this large golden chest with like a tree wrapped around it, and there's all kind of like, you sense all kind of magical energies going through it, and your rogue attempts to open it. And let's say they roll high. Let's say they roll and they get that 20 plus their 6. So this is the highest possible roll for them, a 26 to the Thieves' Tools check, and it still doesn't open. Okay, you don't just say, "Oh, it doesn't open." You might actually be able to lead them. So maybe you set the DC to 30 for a specific reason, and that you don't want the chest open this way. So you could explain to the rogue that their efforts were actually quite brilliant, but to open this chest through lockpicking appears to be above your ability. You suspect there is more to this chest and that only a key could possibly get the job done. So not only have you made it a purpose to their role, because there should still be a purpose, even though they can't possibly surpass that role, you've given them enough information. You might have created a side quest for them. Now they've got this chest on their mind, and trust me, they're going to want to open it. Once they've realized that rogue can't open it with a 26, they're going to want to know what's inside. So now maybe you've created a side quest for them. So don't just think you can't make checks impossibly high. Sometimes they just need to learn that there's still boundaries for their characters and their abilities. So the focus on this video is more about how DC check works. I'm going to make another video later that will discuss the various kind of checks, such as perception checks, investigation, survival, and so on. However, my next video is going to discuss how to prevent metagaming when it comes to DC checks. I'm Nick. I'm the intermediate DM. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And leave any questions or comments in the comment section. Thank you.